He who has a why to live for can bear with almost anyhow. This is my favorite quote from one of my all-time favorite books, Man's Search for Meaning, from Viktor Frankl. I consider this to be one of the most important books ever written and one that everyone should read. It's a story about the years that the author spent in concentration camps during World War II and his observation as a psychologist and how people dealt with all the monstrosities during these times. We'll look into some of my favorite points from the book, but also I want to share with you how these principles can help you find true meaning in your own life. Dr. Frankl shares a story in the book about one of his friends in the camp. He had a dream that on March 30th the war will be over, and he shared that with Viktor Frankl right around February. So days passed by and it turned out that the war is not even close to finishing. So on March 29th, the condition of this person got worsened, and on March 30th he lost conscience, and on the next day he was dead. So basically, it came true. His dream came true. The war was over for him. The author saw this pattern over and over again happening. Once a person lost hope for living, within 48 hours, he was dead. And who can blame those people? They had all the right in the world to be mad at everybody, to lose all kind of hope. But would that help them with the ultimate goal of their survival? No, actually, it will do the complete opposite. Everything can be taken from a man, but one thing, the last of human freedoms, to choose one's own attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way. I think this is the most powerful message from the book, and it's actually really simple. How we are going to accept everything that is happening to us, no matter how bad it is. And that's actually what saved the author through these years to survive the camp. Instead of feeling sorry for himself and lose all hope, he turned the concentration camp into his learning ground, and every challenge on the way was a test. Although in everyday life we don't have to fight for survival anymore, or at least most of us, I think the principles are exactly the same. How are you going to react on the things that are happening to you? Once your boss is not happy with your work or something bad happens to you, are you going to get angry? Or are you going to take this opportunity to learn something and actually become a better person in the future and avoid this happening again to you? I try to follow this principle in my own life. Instead of asking myself, why is this happening to me? I try to ask, what can I learn from this situation? Of course, at times it's extremely difficult, I'm not gonna lie. We all get used to our cozy, comfortable lives, and I really like my life and how easy it is. And sometimes when I have a challenge in front of me, I get worried, I get stressed, and it gets me out of my comfort zone, and I have all those feelings of doubt creeping in. But the reality is that these things that happen to us, all these challenges are necessary, actually are great for us. And actually, I want to bring this a step further. I believe that without the challenges, without the opportunities to learn something, we won't be able to appreciate any of the good moments, and we won't be able to grow. And at the end of the day, this will mean that we're just going to be miserable altogether and not getting anywhere in the future. Finding meaning in your life could be one of the hardest things that you will ever have to do. But before we look into how you can find purpose, let's try and understand what exactly a meaningful purpose looks like. Throughout the book, Dr. Frankl gives two specific examples through which people find meaning. And the first one is actually the way he found meaning for himself. Entering the camp, he was working on a research paper, but of course the Nazis confiscated the paper together with all his personal belongings. So throughout the years, he was trying to find little bits of pieces of paper in order to jot down some notes and recreate his work once the war is over. His goal was to write books on the subjects, and also he was imagining himself giving all those talks about his findings in the camps. This was his life mission, and it's one of the best ways to find meaning in your life, to devote yourself to a life task that you have strong belief and passion for. And it could be absolutely everything. It might be writing a book or starting a company that can affect the life of people, or it's not even something so big. It could be something very small, very little for you, but the most important ingredient here is to affect people around you and your society in a positive way. Another way to find meaning is through love, and not only in the intimate sense of the word. Dr. Frankl shares a lot of stories about patients that were committing suicide or they had a huge depression, and he was able to help them only because they were able to find somebody in their life that they truly love and he or she was worth living for. This could be absolutely anyone in your life. It could be your spouse or your friends or your family. Maybe you need to take care of your elderly parents, or maybe you have kids and you want to see them having kids on their own. Actually, there's this research that proves that people with children, even if they're adopted, live longer, and this is the power of true meaning. You wake up every single day and you want to achieve more, you want to be better, you want to improve yourself because there's somebody or something out there that is greater than you. In the final chapter of the book, Dr. Frankl shares an eye-opening number. 30% of people all over the world are complaining that they're lacking meaning in their life. As he puts it, people have enough to live by, but nothing to live for. And keep in mind, this is years after the war is over. And I believe this number is even more relevant in the world that we live today. But how does one find true meaning? Some people are lucky. They just wake up one day and they know what they want to do for the rest of their lives. But most of us, it doesn't actually happen like this. And I've been in this situation quite a few times. After my volleyball career was over, I had this empty hole inside of me and I had no idea what I want to do in my life. Sure, I was having a career and I wanted to make more money and I wanted to become a CEO and manage all those people, but this wasn't bigger than me. This was just self-centered goals. So I want to share with you what helped me in that situation and in many other situations in my life and how I actually try to find meaning in my own life. The first thing you need to know is that free time is your enemy. Every time that I have a lot of free time on my hand, I'm doing useless stuff, and most importantly, my brain starts to think about all kinds of weird stuff. It's the way that it's wired. Unless you give it some food and hopefully it's something more productive, it starts thinking of all the crazy things and all the bad scenarios that can happen to you. And really, every time that I have prolonged time of free time, I just get depressed on so many levels. The easiest solution to this is to try as many new things as possible. We all have interest and we all like different things, so just try as many of them as possible. Maybe you're into music, or you need to learn a language to go to another country, or maybe you love reading books or listening to books or podcasts or whatever. This is actually the place where I find most of the ideas. And even by watching YouTube videos, I was like, okay, I want to do this. This is something that I really want to invest my time in. Just try find different passions and invest some time, and maybe at some point you decide that you don't like it. That's fine, just change it with something else and you'll see that at some point you'll find something that you really love and you want to dedicate your life to. The last way to find meaning is to give back to the society. Actually, I believe this is one of the purest form of dopamines that you can get. It's just so gratifying when you're helping someone that is in need. Try joining a local organization, or you don't even have to do this. You can do it on your own without telling anyone. And even if you don't have money, it's not necessary to invest money into this. It's about your time. It's about, giving back, teaching people something that you know, or just spending some time with them and feeling appreciative of what you have, and also trying to help them become better people at some point. And it's one of the most gratifying and satisfying feelings that you can have, and I think it's one of the best ways also to find meaning in your own life in whatever situation that you're in right now. That is pretty much everything for this video, guys. I hope you have enjoyed my short kind of a summary of this book. Go read it. I definitely recommend it. And I'm gonna see you in the next one.